Welcome back to Portland, Oregon, Glendevere Golf and Tennis Club for round 3 moving day of the 2023 Portland Open presented by Latitude 64. This is Tournament Central. Brian Earhart joined here yet again by Terry Miller. MPO lead card action going off soon. Terry, it's been a pretty exciting week here at Glendevere. What have you noticed so far from our competitors?
Well, it's great that we have a very tight battle going on here. First of all, our lead card 15 under and then 3 14 under, so no surprise to see. It's just a matter of who's getting subbed in this week or who's performing well from last week. Whatever the case might be, we know we're going to have a great battle here. Someone like Heimburg making a huge jump on his birthday to get into the conversation. He's going to be on the lead card, but we have to talk about our leader right now, Ellis. Very impressive.
I think Corey is going to do so well at this East course. I think it allows for some more creativity than maybe the West course did. I think the West was a bit more long, open, distance heavy. This allows you to work some magic out here, and I think Corey's done just that. Maneuvering the low ceiling's fantastic. His ground play has been really solid. He's got the highest birdie percentage of the entire field. He's birdied half the holes that he's looked at. He has 3 OBs and 3 bogey strokes. So I think if he can just clean those up, he's going to continue pressing and making it hard for the rest of the field.
Well, and I'll follow that up. The hole number 1, he took the double bogey yesterday. In the opening round of the tournament, he took a par but had that OB. So he has 3 OBs. It all comes on the exact same hole. So today he's going to start off on a fresh new start. He's going over to a different course, and he'll play a different hole number 1, and we'll see if he can clean things up. Very impressive what he was doing, and he said he got off to that rough start, but look at the bounce back there. 4 birdies in a row to quickly negate that very rough start. It was great to see that he could do that, and then he even closed out very strong on 17 and 18.
He's just one of those players that I adore watching when he is focused and on fire. He pulls off some incredible highlight-worthy shots. I think this East course allows you to do something like that. There's a lot of really cool elevation shots, flex lines, technical rollers that you can lay down. I think he just has to, like he said, keep focused. We talked a lot with Corey Ellis this week. We also talked to him after his round. Let's hear what he had to say.
You just got to never give up. You know, you just know that there's a lot of golf left to play, and we still have, we're only halfway through 36 more holes, so just keep playing. Oh, this place is amazing. You know, it's just, we feel lucky that we even get to play at this property, and, especially the next course, we get to see like Mount St. Helens in the background and all the huge trees. It just seems surreal to play golf here.
Well, I think he has the full skill set to push and make a move into the final round as the leader yet again. But someone right on his heels, Gossage, who we've been seemingly talking about all week as maybe one of the favorites to win this tournament. What have you been seeing from him so far?
Well, not just all week. I think we've been talking about him almost all year. It feels like he's time and time again, he's in that conversation, and he's doing it very similar to what we've seen from Corey's scorecards in that he's minimizing the mistakes. He had 0 bogeys in his opening round where he shot the 8 under, and then during yesterday's round number 2, hole 10 was the only blemish on his scorecard there, so he followed that up. Very impressive out there. It's just a matter, and we said it here on the show, it's just a matter of keeping that C1X putting in check. He's been successful. I think you're looking at his stats from C2, but it's the C1 where he has to pick those up and put those in his pocket like they're no big deal.
And he missed 4 circle 1 putts, and they were not edge of circle 1 putts. They were definitely flubs on his part. You heard him talking to himself, reprimanding himself after those misses. But he is 6 for 13 from circle 2, which is a number anyone could be proud of, especially with the way these greens are set up for these players. So I think that's great for Aaron. Again, he's also giving himself the most looks inside circle 2. He's number 1 in circle 2 in regulation right now. He's throwing the disc well. He mentioned at the West course, circle 2 looks are likely what you're going to get. So the fact that he's able to cash 6 of them, that's only a bonus on the rest of the field. But today, a lot of the players saying you have to get into circle 1 a lot more often because the holes allow you to do that.
And one final question about him for you would be, we talk about Corey throwing these laser line shots. Of course, Aaron can do the same. He can do it with a backhand, but more frequently doing it with a forehand. Do you feel like, is it a wash between the two of those in terms of how much that's a strength for either of them to throw those low lasers out at this course?
Man, he is so talented, and he's expanding his arsenal a bit more, too. He's starting to get a little bit more confident, not just throwing hyzer backhand, hyzer forehand. His flex shots are phenomenal, and I think the flex shot with the overstable disc is going to help him on these low ceilings. It's so much harder to throw hyzer flip low ceiling. Again, I walked with him and Drew Gibson, who's also on the Chase card this week, and Drew was commending him on the way he was playing these courses, and I had to agree. Talked to Gossage after his round as well. See what he had to say.
Biggest difference was I was just having a little struggle right around that 20-25 foot range. Still making long putts from circle 2, so and the drives were feeling great, but just the short ones.
I mean, despite that, still tied for second, so that's got to be a good feeling to know you're still struggling, but still right there in the mix.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. My drives are keeping me in the game and not taking too many bogeys, so feeling good going into the other course.
East side, yeah, break it down for us a little bit.
East side, I think, is one of my favorite courses I play on tour. I'm really looking forward to playing that course. I think there will be some room for a lot of separation with people that are playing hot.
Going to take a quick commercial break. On the other side, the man that jumped up into the lead card, Calvin Heimburg, fresh off of a birthday. We'll talk about him soon.
This is Latitude 64. We handle the smallest of grains with the greatest of passion. Always trying to improve, trying to be better, out of curiosity, excitement, out of thrill, for the player, for the game. Because we want to make disc golf awesome for you.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make difference so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
Welcome back. Joined here by the PDGA's Hayden Henry. Hayden, you caught a lot of action this morning. You did a lot of interviews. What did you soak in from the players?
I mean, really just from the players and from everyone on site, this place is absolutely buzzing. What a beautiful setting we have. The energy and vibes are incredible. That FPO lead card this morning was just immaculate. And hearing JK and Sayananda talk about the golf they're playing and the golf that who they're playing with tears in their eyes just about. So that pretty much sums it up. If you haven't been to a Disc Golf Pro Tour event to experience it live, come to it. I mean, Bevel's slinging beers. There was a biscuit stand over there. So just incredible vibes here in Portland.
I mean, we watched Ella Hansen throw a roll out of a bunker and then pump the crowd up to cheer even louder for it. It was just a fantastic morning lead card round, and I think the spectators will certainly get their money's worth out here. Speaking of which, there's a lot of other big tournaments out there that you can go spectate and watch, and the PDGA is a part of all of them. Can you talk about some of these big majors you're putting on?
For sure, the Elite Series rolls on, but we've got a number of majors coming up in the next 6 weeks. You know, over 800 players are heading to Peoria for combined Am and Junior Worlds. The next week, 900 players are going to Flagstaff, Arizona for Masters Worlds. And then we wrap up Masters Worlds on Sunday and head to Europe on Monday for the European Open. So players are still qualifying for that event, which is on the forefront of a lot of these guys' minds right now. So busy times. You can still sign up for some of those, or you can find, an event, nearly 7,000 of them sanctioned this year. So if you can't find a place to play disc golf or watch disc golf, you're not trying hard enough.
Whether you're young or old, or you're an amateur or a professional, there are big disc golf tournaments to be a part of, and PDGA is putting on all of those. Thank you so much, Hayden. We're going to take a look at some scores and then jump to an interview with the man himself, Calvin Heimburg.
I think a lot of it just came down to the start. I was 5 down through the first 4. So, as opposed to yesterday, I would have been even through those same 4 holes. So really, it was just a much better start. The start really did everything for me. I mean, when you say I'm 5 down through 4, that means I'm 4 down through the last 14, which is a whole lot less exciting. So, really good start. Jump started around and made it really easy to score.
All right, we're shifting gears and going to the East course. So. Different challenge over there. What awaits the weekend?
That's the same course we played last year, minus the one change on 18. Really don't know how well or how hot it's going to score. I didn't get a chance to go out there and practice that one, but I did play it last year. I think people were definitely shooting hotter there than I think people were here this year. So I think you're going to have to score well, and we'll see what it comes down to the last 2 rounds.
All right, going back to today, 255 feet on a throw-in. Break down hole 15 for us.
Tee shot was a little off, clipped a branch coming out of the gap, kind of shot to the ground and rolled left. Then I threw another just hyzer kind of layup. Ended up kind of close to that OB green, which I honestly didn't even know existed. But I was pretty close to there, and yeah, it left me with whatever, about 250 in, and threw my Rhino, and it just happened to float in. So that was definitely a bonus stroke out there. I'll take it, though.
Well, going into the 3rd round, Calvin is trailing, and kind of scary for our competitors here.
Yeah, just thinking if he carries any of the momentum from yesterday's round. He obviously started off very slow during our opening round here of the competition, comes out and ties for the hottest score out of all competitors with that 9 under yesterday. You saw the eagle. That was one of only 2 eagles, I believe, that were had on hole number 4. And then that throw in to kind of make up for the errant tee shot that we saw, that we're seeing here again on screen. It just talks about the overall composure. But it was interesting when Hayden had talked to him and said, well, about the incredible start. And he immediately said, well, yeah, maybe, but that meant that the back 9 wasn't as great. Yeah. So it's kind of funny to hear him kind of keep himself in check. And I feel like he does that with his emotions when he's out on the course. He's always just keeping himself very even-keeled and in check throughout.
Yeah, I think for Calvin, he needs to clean up the driving. It's weird to say that for him, but that is his bread and butter. He usually leads in all of the driving categories whenever he's playing dominant. You look at his driving stats, they're okay, but we don't see any first places right now, and that's usually where he can dominate the field. Obviously, he's a great putter, but there's a lot of players in this field that are putting fantastic, especially the guys that he's playing on the lead card with. So I think we come into this course today, I think the wind is actually down a little bit, so it could be thrower's paradise out there, Terry.
Well, and he, again, speaking of that momentum, he wants to carry in that C1X putting that he brought yesterday. He was 100% C1X. Felt like he struggled during round number 1, whatever that was. He corrected it during yesterday's round. So if he can keep that rolling and just clean up a few of the drives, clearly he's going to be right there.
Yeah, he said you have to shred this course, and I'm not sure if that's going to be a good thing or bad thing to have to believe going into this round. I don't think the players have seen this for over a year. I think maybe there's one change. I think that's hole number 18 that they have to worry about, but we'll just have to see. I think this card suits every one of these lead card competitors very well. I think another player we have to talk about is Isaac Robinson. Isaac missed 5 circle 1 putts on the weekend, which is not usually something that we see. But then he's 60% from circle 2 on the weekend after 2 rounds. What do you make of that?
Well, and that's something that you're also not surprised to see either, though. When he just walks up, he's so smooth, he's so confident. We heard Philo talking about it quite a bit yesterday during the round of just saying, man, this guy just already knows what he's going to do. He steps up and the stroke is there and he doesn't hesitate. If he takes more than 2 seconds or 3 seconds, you're like, wait, did the screen freeze or something? Yeah. You're really wondering, because he is just so confident in what he's doing. You see the perfectly clean scorecard there yesterday to that 6 under. Again, just needs to clean it up in the shorter range putts as opposed to what he was doing from C2.
Well, what I've noticed watching him putt for the past year or so, it seems like the longer away from the basket he is, the more he feels comfortable getting the disc high and out to the right, breaking back into the basket. But once you get into C1, you don't really have that luxury of playing a break. And it seems like that's his miss when he gets closer to the basket. He tends to pull the disc and not send it as directly to the basket. So obviously it's an adjustment that he probably knows how to make. And I think 5 C1 putts is definitely unacceptable in his book. So he's got 2 more rounds to go, and this moving day should be really exciting.
Well, and the last putt that we just saw there was on hole 18. I remember standing behind the lie looking at it saying he can see about half of the basket here. He's going to have to do just as you said. He's going to have to break it to have it go from right to left and have it fade into the basket because he could only see half of it. He cashed it in, saving his round so that it would remain bogey-free. Very impressive for him to finish out. After his round yesterday, we caught up with him. Here's what he had to say.
You know, missed a couple putts today too that I really want back. Was able to have some good putts down the stretch on 17 and 18, and yeah, the putt on 18 was to secure a bogey-free round, so feeling good about that.
It seemed like the entire field had to work a little harder today. Did you get that sense?
Yeah, I think the wind had a factor to play in that. It was a little more windy than yesterday, so that affected a lot of the shots.
All right, switching over to East tomorrow. What's the difference over there? What's the challenge?
It's a course that I like much better. I think it's a fun course. I think it's a very scoreable course. So looking to shred, looking to shoot maybe, 8 to 11 down out there. So yeah, really excited to hit that course.
Yeah, what makes it fun?
Just the shots. I love each shot. Each hole out there is so much fun to play, and just a great course.
We are going to take yet another commercial break. On the other side, we have a 15-year-old in the field making a push for the lead, Carter Ahrens. We'll talk about him soon.
Latitude 64's boys down here just finished checking out the telemetry in your hat, and everything is A-okay.
Hey, Jonathan, catch. Huh?
Jonathan, we're getting an anomalous critical failure on your suit. Could you please confirm status?
Sorry, man.
Warning, low oxygen.
My name is Garrett Gerthy, and I'm the founder of Double G Craft Jerky.
I love the fact that it's resealable. I can just get a little bit, keep my energy levels up, but not eat like a half of a meal in the middle of my round.
My favorite bag is the smashed cracked pepper. That's my perfect salty snack.
This is my go-to, the Sexton Sweet and Spicy. If this bag gets open, there's no need for the seal, because I'm gonna eat it all.
Welcome back. There's a 15-year-old player making a huge splash on the Disc Golf Pro Tour right now from the Pacific Northwest. Carter Ahrens turning the heads of even our top professionals. Terry, what do you make of this? They keep getting younger and younger.
Well, certainly, and I think back to some of our very early days of live broadcasting when the likes of Eagle McMahon was showing up on the scene, and obviously people in Colorado, everyone knew about how good he was there, and then to see him show up at a Glass Blown Open in 2014 and really kind of make a name for himself there so that everybody knew about him worldwide. It's so impressive to see what he's doing out there. I think about how he's getting it done on every single facet of the game. He drives far. He's very accurate. He is 100% C1X putting during round number 1, 91% during round number 2. I think he's had just one OB stroke over the 2 rounds that we've played so far. Clearly has all the skill sets, including just thinking back to a few weeks ago when he set a course record at the Beaver State Fling to close out his tournament.
to me, that just says his potential is showing. And again, you have a young player that's still growing physically and also just growing as an athlete and a player. You're now going up against true professionals who have put their heart and soul into this game for years, and now you have to figure out how to catch up to him. And yeah, let's look at his previous stats. He hasn't had that great of finishes this season, but he's here, and he's trying to make a name for himself, and he finally has done it. I think that 12 under at Beaver State Fling was the starting point, and then he's playing yesterday with Simon Lizotte, and I'm standing there, and Simon turns to me after Carter drives, and he just goes, "Wow, this kid is really, really good." And I'm sitting here watching him throw a worm burn, and it was clocked at almost 70 miles an hour. And I think that kind of stuff you can't teach. That's just being an athlete. His dad, Chuck, is a power lifter and obviously has worked with him as an athlete playing baseball when he was a kid and now transitioning into disc golf. I'm so impressed. I've been studying his form in slow motion right now, just trying to see where the progression is going to go, and I think it's very promising.
Well, he's been talked about throwing putters 400 feet plus, talked about throwing drivers 600 feet plus. So clearly he's got the skill sets to put them all there. One of the things that I found funny over the last few weeks is anytime he's been out there playing, someone's been posting online saying, talk more about Carter, how great he is. We're doing it. I mean, he obviously, when you put together the rounds that you have and you're making these waves, we're going to be talking about you. And he's earned every bit of it so far. It's just a matter of being in that spotlight. We'll see if he can push forward. He's on the chase card. We caught up with him yesterday after his round. Here's what he had to say.
I think the last couple holes I played pretty decent. First couple, I bogeyed the first one, but then after that I was playing really good. And I kind of had a dry area in the middle, so that put me back a little bit. But then I finished good. I've been playing pretty good in practice and in my local tournaments even, but really on the pro tour I've been not doing the best. So I guess nice to these last couple tournaments I've been playing pretty good.
What is your background in disc golf? When did you get started, and when did you really start falling in love with the game?
Oh, I think 8 or 9 years now, so it's been a while. And I really started, I had a babysitter, and he brought me out every single day for 2 or 3 summers. So, and I just loved it ever since, and it just gotten better from there.
I talked to your dad a little bit, and he talked about how much you really love competing and how much you love disc golf and how you've kind of transitioned into this sport fully from baseball. How big are your dreams in this sport? Are you trying to take it all the way and be the best?
Yeah, I'm trying to be the best that there ever was.
A bold claim from the young superstar. We have another young player that we caught up with yesterday, Alden Harris, close to the top.
I think the difference today compared to yesterday was just the start I had. I had an insane start, really. It's not expecting to get, I think I was 6 down through 8, which is just really, really good here. So that was the big difference. And then kind of slowed down on the back, struggled on the putting green, and took an OB that was kind of dumb. So, but overall, pretty good.
We're switching over to the east. Seems like that's a more favorable course. Break it down for us. What's the challenge over there? What are you most looking forward to?
They're very similar courses, the west and the east. I think the difference is it's just a little bit easier to get closer to the basket, where here you have to rely on a lot of circle 2 looks, where there it's easier to get into circle 1. I've actually been struggling with a knee. I don't know if you'd even call it injury. It's just been bothering me. I had to drop out last week in Cascade, but it's feeling a little bit better. Still have to take it kind of slow. My throwing's feeling really good. My putting, it's usually one of my strong suits, but right now it feels kind of weird, so I need to figure that out.
All right, you're jumped at least 10 spots, going to be near the top of the leaderboard. What's the mentality heading into the weekend?
Just the same thing I've been doing, but connect on the putts a little more.
Well, we have so many players close to the top with 2 rounds to go, and Alden is another player that over the years we've kind of watched him grow up in this game. He's committed fully to the tour life. He's been at almost every big stop for the past few years, and it's really interesting to see his game progress. In the beginning, I knew he was going to be good, but I didn't think he was going to be this consistently good.
Yeah, it's been incredible to watch, and I know I've said it before, but you can also watch some of that progression and the fun that him and all of his friends are having out there on tour. I think even one of his more recent vlogs was titled something along the lines of, "Why are all my friends winning majors and I'm not yet?" or something of that nature. So having a good time with it. Certainly an entertainer, and he's really leaning into it. I love it.
Well, we're going to catch up with him soon, but on the other side of this commercial break, let's catch up with Drew Gibson, who had a crazy day on the disc golf course yesterday. We'll talk about it soon.
Hey, can I get a flight tray? Sure.
Flight's ready.
This
is
the new
up to ice orbit. Look
at this
very nice thing.
tingling.
Welcome back. One more player I want to talk about. We haven't really talked about him a lot recently. Drew Gibson, multiple-time winner here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. A winner of the Portland Open previously, beating Eagle McMahon a few years back. One of the best backhand throwers that I believe we've ever seen in the sport of disc golf. Getting to attack this East course, you've watched him play so much over the years. Talk about what you know.
Yeah, one of the things that does come to mind is the playoff that him and Eagle McMahon went to when we had our Portland Open here a few years ago, and that was his biggest win of his career at that point. Obviously, we've seen him perform well in a number of other events, including the playoff against Gannon Burr at the Las Vegas Challenge last year. So it's incredible to see that. I think about, did Drew Gibson have somewhere he had to be yesterday? The second to last hole, he throws in from 49 feet, and then the last hole, he throws in from 342 feet. This guy must have been in a hurry. Maybe he had some hot date to get to, but trying to close out his day as quickly as possible yesterday. Very impressive.
It was amazing, and we watched this enormous throw-in on the really tough to even birdie hole 18 air shot for the 3, getting him on that chase card. And some more highlights coming in from yesterday. Austin Hannum on hole 3, big skipper playing off the ground. Trying to pull a Jeremy Colling hopping up into the elevated basket.
That is a spicy shot from our friends over there at the Halal Guys for sure. And if you think you're going to get a skip in, you're not usually thinking, well, yeah, I'll just do it on the elevated basket. I'm not sure I'm tall enough to retrieve it from there. So nice shot there by Hannum. And then talking about piping it right up the middle for Proctor there on 11.
They do such a good job on this property of setting up gaps for the players to hit to make them think just a little bit more about the power and the type of shape that they have to throw. I think on some of these golf courses that we play, it's easy to have really monotonous tee shots with maybe some tight, little bit more technical second, but there's so many tight gaps the players have to throw. Calvin Heimburg here on hole 4. I mean, that would have been a nice ace on a par 4. Not too shabby.
He would be one of the only 2 Eagles yesterday on hole number 4. And then Calvin Heimburg on his birthday, hole number 15. He was out of position off the tee, but he makes up for it with a huge throw-in, nearly 250 feet. Happy birthday to Calvin Heimburg, who then shot himself up the leaderboard, who's sitting in a tie for second going into moving day.
Well, with that said, Terry, we're going to have to wrap things up here at Glendoveer and get back out in the disc golf course. 2 more rounds to go. It is moving day for Tournament Central. I'm Brian Earhart. He's Terry Miller. We're going to have to run out there. T1.
We'll find you in the fairway.